What's going on, guys? Tom Costanza here, back with another YouTube video. Today we have a special one. This is Thursday, Thanksgiving 2022. We are going to be posting a step-by-step video on how to make the perfect pizza dough. I have two recipes. This is video number 1. Stay subscribed for video number 2. Let's get right into the video. Okay, so we have all of our ingredients set up. This is literally going to be the easiest recipe ever, and I'm gonna list all of the ingredients and all of the steps in the description down below. That way you guys can't mess this up. But we're gonna be going to extreme depth, that way you guys can also make the perfect pizza. Let's get started with our water. Okay, let's get started. So the first thing that we're gonna do is put in 312 milliliters of water. Try and keep it room temperature into this bowl. Next, we're going to take our Fleischmann's Rapid Rise Instant Yeast, and we are going to dump in just a full packet. Typically like to do anywhere from 5 to 7 grams. This packet is 7 grams. Next is to add in just 5 grams of honey, just so that the yeast has a little bit to bite on. All done. Now here we just grab a fork, just mix it all together. Next thing that I like to do is add my olive oil. So I typically put in about 12 grams of extra virgin olive oil. Then we will give that a mix. Now for the big part, we have to add 500 grams of all-purpose flour. All-purpose flour is in here, 500 grams. Okay, 503 is perfectly fine. Then once we add our flour, we also want to add in about 15 grams of salt. Now the next thing that we're gonna have to do, we have all of our ingredients. Mix it with a fork first. So pizza is all about the percentages of the hydration. So we have 312 milliliters of water and 500 grams of flour. So if you divide those two, that comes out to about 0.624, in other words, 62.4% hydration. So this is a fairly low hydration dough, meaning that it should be very easily to work with. The more water you add and the higher the hydration, the more difficult it is to work with. But now that we have everything pretty much stuck together, you dump it out on our table, and we're just gonna start pressing and kneading. Basically press, fold, rotate. If it's a little bit sticky, add olive oil to your hands. Just a little bit of olive oil like this. That much. Rub it in. It'll prevent the dough from sticking to you. You don't want to add water or flour. Press, rotate, fold. If you're more skilled, you do it with one hand. Not saying that I'm skilled, but I've done this more than a few times. This is developing the gluten in the dough. That way when you stretch it, it doesn't rip. See, right now it rips. The end goal here is for your dough to become super smooth. So as you see on the GoPro cam here, the dough is not smooth at all. It gets a little bit smooth when you stretch it out like this. Basically what I'm doing is just tucking it underneath itself. It gets a little bit smooth, but it's still kind of ripping. So best thing we could do for this, ball it up, sticking my pinkies underneath it. What it's doing is it's tightening the top. Ball it up, just like this. Get some saran wrap, olive oil on hands, light coating in olive oil, and then we just cover it for about 15 minutes. Leave it covered just like this for about 15 minutes. We'll come back, I'll show you the texture. So we'll see, it's gonna be night and day. Texture like this, you can kind of already tell, it's not super smooth. We'll check back in 15 minutes. Okay, so after about a 15-minute session, this is what we're left with. Let's remove our saran wrap. Now, as you can probably tell, it's not smooth yet. But after the 15 minutes, the dough is going to be relaxed and all of the gluten in it has relaxed. So show it to the GoPro. We're just going to tuck it underneath itself. Use our pinkies again. This is exactly what you're looking for. There, nice and smooth. The reason it's smooth is because all of the gluten is relaxed and you've built up all of the gluten, and that's the strength. So this dough is not going to rip. Now, the next thing you do is you cover it back up. You can throw a little bit more olive oil back on your hands. Back in, cover it back up. Now we want to let this one rest for a full hour. You're going to see it's going to start to grow and it's going to start to develop little tiny air pockets on the inside. So we'll check back in an hour. Take notice the size it is now versus in an hour. All right, squad, so it's been about an hour and we have our dough here, obviously a lot bigger than it was an hour ago. I'm going to remove it. Remove our saran wrap. Now, when I first started, before I actually had a dough scraper, I would just use a knife and literally just cut it into fours. Once you have it into fours, then you want to make them into individual dough balls. Ball them up. You want to ball them up like this. It's okay to pop any air bubbles in here. You know your yeast is working. Cinch it. You have a dough ball like this. Make four of those. And then once you have 4 dough balls, you want to take a pan or something like this. I don't have a proofing actual box, but you want to take just a frying pan, sprinkle a little flour on it, put your dough ball into the pan, and then you want to let it rise for about 2 to 3 hours, dependent on how hot or cold the setting that you're in is. And once it's proofed after the 2 or 3 hours, then it's ready to make it to a pizza. We're actually not making pizza out of these dough balls. I'm actually using these for Thanksgiving, and we're going to be making sausage and pepperoni bread, which is going to be in Sunday's video, so stay tuned for that. Now it's time to get into the outro. All right, thank you guys so much for watching and stick around until the end of the video. It means the world to me that you guys watched the video all the way through. I will say this was method number 1 for the pizza dough. I would definitely subscribe now. That way you're notified when method number 2 of the pizza is posted. Method number 2, in my opinion, I think is better. This is the easiest version. Method number 2 takes a little bit more steps and preparation, but I think it tastes a lot better. So we'll see you guys this Sunday. And then remember, I'm posting videos every single Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. See you next time. Peace.